initially off the bat, especially not people who are doctors or police officers or anyone who you feel might be a threat to you by hiding behind a label, a uniform, etc. And I can just tell you that when I walked in and I saw 5 of the women that I was in this film with, and that we were all just as messed up as each other, and that we were going to get through this together, Joanne and Carol had a way of pulling us together in a group and then treating us individually that I had never done before. And I believe that the two things together, especially being all women, was huge. At the VA hospital, we don't have that option. I've been going to the same group for 3 years, and I'm the only woman in a group of about 15 men. And most of my MST sisters won't even go. So, you know, I know that this film has changed my life completely. And I've tried to explain to my parents all this time what happened to me in the military, and I couldn't get the words out. I couldn't explain all of that. And now, not only has it explained it to my parents, but today we had a hearing, another hearing. I don't know if anybody knew that, but like 9 hours of their day for the Senate Armed Services Committee was spent with top brass officials, still using the zero tolerance lingo and not getting away with it this time. So if you really are interested in seeing more of that, go on C-SPAN because it's recorded. But anyway, I'm just really grateful to have the opportunity to have been able to go to this program. I would never have been able to go if I wasn't scholarshiped to the program. That is one thing I can say, is most of us are disabled and on a limited income. And so that was huge for me to be sponsored. And then my husband was flown out, and he was taught all of my coping skills. So when I went back home, I couldn't pretend that I had to fall back on my old coping skills, because he was sitting right there going, no, you need to sit in that chair right there, and you need to put your feet on the ground and ground yourself. And, and that was very helpful, you know, and now I have a partner in that, and I'm so grateful that you guys taught him what you did, because he does have my back. And yeah, so I'm really grateful to everyone who's here. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. First of all, it's the first time I've met Katie, and I'm so excited to meet someone else from the film, because this is the first survivor that I've met other than myself. And the reason that is because I didn't know I was raped for about 15 years, because I was told by the Navy that I was not. I was told by the Navy that I shouldn't have been drinking, and that I shouldn't have been in that situation, and that I shouldn't have made that mistake. I should chalk it up to a poor choice and suck it up. So for 15 years I didn't realize, until I started having all these crazy symptoms, panic attacks, started pulling my hair out, drank like a fish, couldn't figure out why, because I just thought life sucked, you know. Life just sucks, right? And so I went to a psychologist who said I was having panic attacks. It got uncovered that I had been raped. And I was given a card to contact the filmmakers at the VA by the head of the MST department, Military Sexual Trauma Department. Said, you should check these guys out, they're making a movie. I went, okay, this was also new to me. I went up and they filmed my story, and you saw just a very small piece of it. But that was that camera was the second person I told. And then it just, things just started falling into place after that. Katie went through the inpatient 2-week program, and was I the first? I am the first prototype for the 5-week outpatient program that they created especially for me. And oh my God, I'm so lucky. Because what we have been able to do in the last 5 weeks, the VA has not been able to do in the last 5 years for me. And I don't want to discredit cognitive behavioral therapy and cognitive processing therapy. These are good therapies. What they do is they help you cope with your symptoms. What these women have done for me is to help me eliminate the cause of the illness, and at least begin that and work on it. And EMDR, and this program, it's not just EMDR, it's somatic, it's movement, it's art therapy, it's mindfulness, yoga, massage, everything combined together. All these supplemental therapies that work in concert to really actually go in, get at the root of what is causing your anxiety and eliminate it. Not just deal with the symptoms, which is what the VA is. They do that, it's cheap. I went through 5 cycles of cognitive behavioral and cognitive processing therapy, because it's only 8 to 12 weeks, and then you're done. You're all better. Here's a smorgasbord of pills. Take yourself home and enjoy your new life. And you get home, and after it works for about a month or two. You use the exercises they teach you, and then you just fall right back into it. So I went through it. I was like, I don't know what else to do. I need to go through it again. I'll take it again. And this program is so important. Not only because I get to speak to others and meet other people who have gone through what I've gone through, but we can now do it in an outpatient setting. I wasn't able to take the time off work. You want to know where I work? I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. Ha! Sorry. No, I don't work for the Veterans Benefits Administration. I work for the Health Administration. But I'm hoping to be able to make a difference by doing that. But I can't get 2 weeks off work. I just simply can't, because getting my PhD, I had to take all my vacation time to do my doctoral residencies every year. So I wasn't able to get any time to do this. They won't give a 70% disabled PTSD vet 2 weeks off to go get help. And it's the VA, but I love my job. And they created this outpatient program for me, which was just a godsend, and it's made the world of difference to me. For the last 15 years, I've been dressed in black, literally and figuratively, just in a cocoon, jaded, pissed, comedian, good comedian, taking what ails me and making jokes out of it, and just being in this shell and hating everybody and not being close to anyone and just throwing up walls. And in these last 5 weeks, I have a dress with flowers on it, you guys. I have pink mascara, everyone. It's pink. That's the first thing I noticed when she walked in. I bought frilly underwear from Victoria's Secret. I dropped like 5 bills. And I'm having such a good time, and I don't want to get carried away, but you know, it's because of this program. It's because I've been able to deal with these symptoms. So I want to thank these wonderful women, and I'm so glad to meet you too. Thank you.
One of the other things that I wanted to say is, you know, hearing on the news today to hear Dick Cheney, of all people, one of the women asked him at the Senate hearings, you know, what would you say to a young girl who wants to go into, John McCain, sorry, to go into the military today? Do you think that they would be safe? And he said, you know what, I never thought I would say this before, but I can't say yes, they would be safe. And to me, that's a huge thing for someone like him to come out and say, no, women are not safe to go into the armed forces at this time.
So I just want to did you want to add something to that? Because I was just going to add something about the program. I just want to quickly tell you guys that we are working on the outpatient program for new veterans that can come in. We chose the outpatient route. One is because a lot of the people are working, and two, financially it's much more doable. And so just to give you a little bit of an idea, $3,000 help a woman to go through a week of intensive therapy, which we recommend usually 2 weeks. And then this is almost like a year worth of therapy when you go 1 hour, because we're talking like hours and hours of therapy a day in different modalities, and it's a very supportive environment. So, did you want to add anything?
I just wanted to mention that in the inpatient environment, what I found to be really great was the camaraderie, being with these women who were sharing other experiences that were so similar to mine, made me feel less of a weirdo and more like validated to get help. Because for so many years, I was retaliated against, and then I guess I just gave up on myself, you know, and so I got off of all the VA medications like 3 years ago, so I've had substance abuse issues. And I went and got help for that, but the VA wouldn't help me get off of the prescribed medications they had me loaded on. And so I got clean by myself, and then kind of I've just been coasting for like 3 years, doing a lot of advocacy and trying to get to Washington, D.C. and bang on some doors, you know, which obviously, you know, this movie did that for us. But the treatment part of it is the real gift, because there's no way I would have ever been able to be a part of something like that unless I at least raised my hand and said, I need help, you know. And seeing all these other people made it really easy for me to say, yeah, I think I need help because I'm just like them. And if they need help, then I guess I deserve it too. You know, and there are a lot of us who can't go grocery shopping without an anxiety attack. Many of the veterans I know have combat and military sexual trauma, PTSD. So they've been on both sides of the fence, and many have service dogs and need a lot of support, and it's just not available. So like my husband, who works 6 days a week, you know, is the only person I have for backup. And now I've learned how to take parenting classes, you know, go home and implement what the changes are that I want in my life. So now I'm taking parenting classes, and I feel like a grown-up. I think I felt like I was 18 years old when I showed up in Santa Barbara, and today I'm pretty much close to 38 now, you know, and it feels good.
And isn't it amazing? I think what we were talking about before is the quickness with which this type of therapy works,
Yeah.
compared to other therapies. The you know, $100 an hour you spend on CBT, an hour of EMDR goes, I would say, 4 times farther if I had to actually quantify it, because just the bang for your buck is so amazing.
Well, you know, and if the VA had a grip on how to heal us and treat us, then they would be doing that. But there are so many of us out there floundering around alone, and until this film came out, lots of people didn't know this was a huge epidemic with 26,000 victims that are raped by another service member every year.
The VA wasn't even giving us our claims. They weren't even recognizing that this was a problem because the military wasn't recognizing it, and they kind of go hand in hand.
They do. Yeah, and I do feel very much like, you know, I feel comfortable sharing with you guys, because I don't know, if you were a class of psychology students, then you would probably know what EMDR and EFT and somatic therapy and all that stuff is. But just to clarify, so like in the VA system, I would sit in a group and it would be a class. And I would be given materials and homework, and I'd go home and I'd come back a week later and we'd do that 1 hour class again with the same group of people. Some would be there, some wouldn't show up at all. But the point is that there was no consistency. I was coming for 1 hour each week, and that's all I was getting for my mental health. But I had been raped, and so I was really messed up, and I didn't get the treatment I needed. So it's kind of like giving somebody that shot thinking they're having a stroke when they're really having a heart attack. Wrong treatment, you know? And so
And the homework just stresses you out.
Well, yeah, it
Because
sure.
now you have
I always
homework.
did it in my car in the VA parking lot,
Yeah,
like
me too.
the morning, like 5 minutes before my
You had to like
appointment.
write sentences like,
Yeah.
here's a bad
an
thought I
example.
had,
Yeah.
and here are 6 things that I could say against it.
Yes,
And you're
exactly.
out there trying to finish your homework, like I'm gonna
get in trouble. The VA is going to yell at me because it's the same.
Then you
as
have a
the
panic
military.
attack.
But you know what these guys did with me was so intimate, and that's what I wanted to share, was that never have I ever felt comfortable enough to like strip down, to like kick, punch, and argue and go through the trauma again just to get it out of my body. I didn't understand that that's what needed to happen. I didn't understand that my adrenals are going off, and like I'm constantly vigilant on high alert, and it's exhausting. So like I could go, you know, out and do a 2-hour trip at the mall and be beat for the rest of the day, and I didn't know why. Well, because my head was on a swivel, because I was waiting for someone to attack me and rape me, because that's all I could think about, because that's what my adrenal glands were saying. And so I kind of got a general understanding of what my body needed was a break, you know, and it needed to get some of that stuff out. It's kind of like a hard drive. You got to make room for new stuff, right? So I'm learning how to have pleasure again, which is really great and scary. The things that I did, I will never forget what I disclosed to them up there. But one thing I have to say is that when you get raped and then you tell someone and they go, we know him. He wouldn't do that. He doesn't even like girls like you. And he has a pregnant wife anyway. You know, when someone says that to you and then you go to another woman to report it, and another woman leader says the same thing to you, and then you go to a man and he says the same thing to you, pretty soon you stop going to people. You shut down and you're like, fine, you know what? I just have to suck it up and drive on. And so what I was able to do was reopen Pandora's box in a safe environment.